Hi everyone, it's me Lindsay again with EquipMeOT here today to talk about how to install a grab bar. So if you checked out my last two videos, I talked about where to put them and how to pick them, and now we're going to get to how to install them. So this grab bar that I'm going to install today is by Moen. It is a 24-inch, 1¼ inch grip metal grab bar. This is a very base model, but it works brilliantly. I'm going to be installing it vertically next to my shower. So I wanted to quick go over the supplies we're going to need to do this process. So it's a little bit more involved than some of my other installations, so bear with me. First things first, when you install a grab bar, you need a stud finder, a good stud finder. And I even use this with some additional referencing for measuring and figuring out where exactly my studs are located. Also, a good roll of painter's tape. I love this stuff. I showed it in my first video on where to place grab bars, how you use this. I've got a drill driver that I'm going to be using for drilling my holes. I've got a 1/8 inch drill bit for the screws that are going to be going into a stud. And then I've got a 1-inch monster bit that's going to be for the installation of the screws that are not going into a stud, that are going to be using these nifty toggles. So these toggle bolts will go over how to install these in place when you don't have a stud available. I also have a impact driver that I'm going to be using to actually put the screws into place once we're ready to drill them into the stud. You're going to need a good level, because you want to make sure that grab bar is nice and level, and a pencil to mark your holes. Okay, so that's all you really need to get started, and then we're going to head over to the actual install spot and we're going to put this thing into place. Alright, so now we're ready to go ahead and install this grab bar. I've got my grab bar here. One pro tip is to keep these little flange covers from rattling around and driving you crazy the whole time you're trying to install. Take a piece of that painter's tape and just kind of tape them into position. That way they're not sliding around and they're available for you when you need them, okay? So that is that. Alright, I went ahead on my wall and located my studs. This is a corner wall, so I have a stud here. This piece of tape marks the outside edge of the stud, so I know visually where I need to be setting my grab bar to hit that stud. There is no stud on this inside wall, so that's where I'm going to be using the toggle bolt to add that third anchor point. So we're going to take our grab bar here, and I'm simply going to grab pencil and my level, and I'm going to set so I can see that the blue painter's tape, which I know is a stud, is showing through at least 2 holes. I'm going to use I can do that down below too. I want to position this the height I like, which I've predetermined is about here. I'm going to use my level to make sure, there we go. And we're going to try to go as close to the top as we can. So one is going to go about right here. And then the other one is going to go in this hole here. And then the third one with the toggle bolt is going to go right there. Now we're going to come down to the bottom. We know we're still level. We're going to mark one here. And we're going to mark one maybe kind of in the middle here, so that I'm still hitting that spot. And the toggle is going to go on this open wall about here. Okay, so we're all marked up. Now we're going to get this out of the way for the time being. And we're going to pre-drill the holes. I'm not looking to go all the way through into the stud necessarily. I just want to get through the first layer of drywall so the screw goes in really cleanly. So I've got my drill driver here. I'm going to line it up with that first hole. And we're going to get that. I felt that hit the stud. It's a good move. Okay. Some people will put up a little catch here to catch your drywall dust. Not a bad idea. Certainly make it a cleaner process. I'll just vacuum when I'm done. I'm going to center on that hole that I drew. Hit the stud. And come back out. I'm going to do the same thing down below with my 1/8 inch bit before I switch over to the 1 inch. Alright. There's my stud. And center it. All right. Okay, now I'm gonna switch out my bits. Okay, got my drill bit working, so now we're gonna go ahead and move forward with getting this 1-inch hole for my toggle bolt. So, surprise, surprise, I started drilling into my wall and I found a stud where I didn't think there was one. This happens all the time. Stud finders don't always find the right edges, and in this case I think I actually have a piece of wood running that helps support my surround. Didn't know. So if you take a look in that hole there, you're gonna see that there is wood, which is great news because then I don't have to use those hollow point toggles. So do take a bit of advice from me. Maybe don't go straight in with the 1-inch bit when you're not sure if there's wood behind it. Go ahead and do what I did on the lower one, which is do an exploratory hole with a 1/8 inch so that I can then find the wood, which I did. There was stud available down there as well. Fortunately, all of these holes are going to be covered with my grab bar once it's in position, but live and learn, I suppose. So we do now have 3 pre-drilled holes that are ready to accept the screws for my grab bar. So we're going to switch it up now. I'm going to grab my grab bar. I'm going to grab one. I'm going to make sure that all 3 holes that I pre-drilled, top and bottom, all show through, and they do. We're going to start putting these guys in place. So since I pre-drilled, I'm able to kind of turn that guy into place before I start drilling. Now I'm not going to tighten everything down right away because I just want to make sure I'm level. So it needs to come a little bit. And there will be the ability to adjust this even once this screw is in place, so it's not super vital that it's perfect. All right, so here we go. One is in. Okay. We're gonna go ahead and do one on the bottom here, and let's make sure. Beautiful. All right. That is not going anywhere. Definitely went into 3 points that were all into studs. Now we simply take these flanges and clip them into position. Beautiful. So just like that, I've added a really nice solid grab point to help with stepping in and out of this really tall edged shower. I'm excited for this because my kids can use this to help them step in and out, as well as any visitors we have or ourselves. So I've just added a nice safety feature. It took me no time at all. I hope that you guys got some value out of this video. Please consider giving me a thumbs up if you did. And as always, if you need more information on how to stay safe and independent in your own home and community, consider subscribing to EquipMeOT. Thank you.